What'd you think of that?
God, I did not see that coming.
That's how I laugh.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Cast Revive, your weekly top 5 gaming podcast, and more. I'm your host, Matt Heimroll, here with the man that scares the crap out of me every day, Mr. Brian Husky.
Super creepy.
And we start our character month for August. Yeah. We were supposed to start it last week, but me being the smart man that I am, I was out in the sun a little bit too long. Didn't have enough
you
water.
went to a water park and you got dehydration.
I went to a water park and I got dehydrated. I'm the first person in history that went to a water park and got dehydrated.
Oh, I'm sure that's not the case.
But yeah, so we are a week behind, but we did not forget any of the awesomeness and silliness that comes with our weekly shenanigans. So I tried to make up for it by doing those daily little videos and putting up there. People seem to like it so far. I've been getting some decent response to it. So
they like the nose wipe.
Yeah, the nose wipe that I do. Yeah, it's kind of a staple for me. So, Character Month. What exactly are we going to be doing for Character Month?
We're going to be talking about characters.
Characters unheard of.
Yeah, right.
This week, we're going to be discussing our favorite rosters.
That's right.
So, playable characters, non-playable characters,
just
the
characters
whole in-game.
Yeah, they're like, take a game, take all the characters out of it, and that's what we're talking about.
Yep, that's going to be fun.
I think so.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really cool.
I think you picked some really good ones.
Usually I don't. So, usually I suck. Usually I pick some games that are out there. You know, there's probably going to be some people that listen to this and they're like, you know, what? Why did you pick this? And you know, it's my top 5. You'll pick a different top 5.
You did pick Freedom Fighters for both of us to talk about. So,
next week is our least favorite rosters. That'll be our whole top 5 is just Freedom Fighters, and maybe Scott Pilgrim in there. So
maybe. Scott Pilgrim. Just making sure I was paying attention.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like reading over the notes. You're like insulting Scott Pilgrim.
So, speaking of it's a good little segue from Scott Pilgrim into the music we're listening to is Undertale. Very similar style, of like the 8-bit old chiptune retro style.
Yeah, they didn't try to do like a modern sounding soundtrack. They went They definitely went for retro.
Yeah, and it fit.
It fit totally. Yeah, because the game itself is like a nod to all those games we grew up on.
The thing that's amazing about this game that I think is that, we'll discuss more about it later, but for the size of the game, it's not that large, but the soundtrack is massive.
Well, it's pretty big,
You know, it is a very big soundtrack, so, but that's cool. A lot of variety. I like it.
Definitely. And I don't know, the thing about the Undertale soundtrack to me is like it repeats itself a lot. So it takes like one theme and does like 10 variations of it. And a lot of people might say that that's like not creative, but I think it is.
The Final Fantasy does that as well. Especially the Final Fantasy X, the hymn of
the crystal theme that they use all this. Oh, you're talking about the puzzle theme. Yeah.
And then there's like 10 versions of that in there, but they're all different based on what area of the world they're in. So it's kind of neat.
That's true.
So before we jump into our 5, I think you got some news that you wanted to talk about. Is that right, handsome man?
I got a lot of news.
I like that.
Don't call me handsome.
You are
ever again.
You are our sex symbol. So
yeah, right. Somebody sold you some bad information.
No,
you've never seen my true face.
It's completely accurate. You have an amazing voice. You have the golden voice of this podcast.
So anyway, news, right? Overwatch. I've been playing it a lot.
Ooh.
We know that Ana was released. That's old news. I finally got around to playing her. I want to say she might be my new go-to.
Interesting.
Yeah. You know me. I like alchemy. I like chemistry. I like potions. She has a gun that shoots potions, basically, and then she has a throwable potion and a sleep dart.
Yeah.
And I found it. You remember we used to play Battlefield Bad Company?
Yeah.
And we all had those accounts with in the beginning.
Yeah.
One of her highlight intros is just called shh.
That's awesome. Yes.
She's super creepy, and she's a sweet old lady as well. So I think those two go
How do you find,
hand in hand.
In terms of like being a healer, do you find it like very difficult to be able to keep your team like alive with it? Or is she not... Or is there usually 2 healers in the team, or like
no? So like in Overwatch, it's always hard to keep your team alive because your team is just a bunch of gobshites. Mm-hmm. Like they are the most awful human beings, and they've been handed a video game.
Yeah.
So at least those are the teams that I get on.
Learn to heal, noob.
Yeah. So like I can snipe heal better than I can snipe actual enemy players because like your team just stands around. The other team is always mobile.
Right.
So that's not hard to do. Plus that heal grenade, the potion that I was talking about.
Okay.
Basically AoE heal over time for like 2 seconds. So
that's
really,
cool.
really good. And her ulti is just fantastic because it's a buff. So I can just put it on someone else and let them fail instead of me trying to make it work.
Nice.
So that's good. The other big update with Overwatch is Lucio Ball.
Yep.
So, Matt, you just got into
Rocket League.
You just got into Overwatch.
I just got into Overwatch. This game's great.
Yeah, you just got into Rocket League. What do you think about that?
I love it. I freaking love it. Yeah, I wanted to play it for a long, long time, and I was just like, $20. I'm just gonna wait, like for no real reason other than I was playing other games at the time. But some people I know were like, okay, I'm getting this, and I'm getting ready to move into a house, so my spending is gonna be a little tighter. So I said, you know what? I'm just gonna drop it now and play it. See how it is, and I was like, I'm kicking myself in the face for not getting it day one,
Right.
But it's amazing. It's so much fun. It's one of those games you can be like, okay, you can pick it up very easily, but it has a very steep learning curve.
It does.
So,
yeah,
which is great.
So you got in a team with you and Bobby, right? Or
Yeah.
you and
Yeah.
as a pro team you're going up against?
We got absolutely decimated. It was horrible.
The lobbying is a little screwed.
Yeah.
Right? Same thing with Overwatch. Like, I can be the highest person on my team.
Right.
Right? And then I'm fighting against people that are... I'm only 51.
Right.
But then I'm fighting against people who are prestige, like, level 3 or whatever.
Yeah. It's ridiculous how high people are now in that game.
Lucio Ball has been the same thing for me. I've just been going up against teams that destroy me. Like the last game I played was like 14-0.
Oh wow!
I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Like I can play Rocket League just fine, but Lucio Ball is.
But it's the same premise as Rocket League. And you can only be Lucio, right? Like
you can only be Lucio. Yeah, Lucio Ball. Which sounds like Lucille Ball.
I like it. I wonder if that's what they were going for.
I don't think so.
They should have like a ref come out and be like, Vitamin Benjamin girl, buy this before the match starts.
There you go. Did you watch that show?
Oh, dude,
I Love Lucy.
I grew up on Lucy. Yeah.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Explains so many things.
Explains my awesome sense of humor.
So we got another thing about Overwatch real quick, and it's old news by now because this was last week's news, but heat exhaustion.
Heat exhaustion.
Heat exhaustion.
I take full blame for this.
They buffed Ana. There was a problem with her sleep dart, where if they received damage, they would wake up from the sleep automatically. Now it always puts you to sleep for 1 second.
Oh, okay.
So before it was just kind of like an ultimate breaker.
Right.
If someone's going to ultimate, you just put them to sleep if you could. Now it's sleep no matter what for a second at least.
Nice.
And then damage will break it off. But if they don't get damaged, I think it's like 2 seconds.
Okay.
I could be wrong. McCree got a buff in his firing speed, but his range got nerfed.
Seems like they're doing a lot to McCree.
They're doing a lot with McCree.
They're trying to be like, okay, he's overpowered. Now he's weak. Now let's get him back. Now let's just keep messing with McCree until he's just perfect.
I don't mind that. Yeah, I want them to put the more attention McCree gets, the better. They gave him a new skin too.
Oh,
the American skin.
Really?
Instead of his normal poncho, he wears the American flag.
All right, new main.
So,
new main.
I thought you'd be happy about that.
That's awesome.
Getting away from Overwatch because I think that's it. I really think
I need to check it back. It's been a while since I've been about a month, so I need to
get into it. Get the loot boxes are special, so you can get Olympic themed skins, sprays, voice lines, and stuff like that. And they're only available in these loot boxes, and they're going to go away at the end of August.
Okay.
So, other than that, we got Professor Layton, the newest Professor Layton game. This is news for me because only I care about it.
The only person. This game is made just for you.
But they're introducing a new main character, which is going to be Professor Layton's daughter.
Ooh.
I totally forget her name. And a talking basset hound. So maybe you'll like that.
Talking dog, I'm there. Sign me up.
So what I want to know is what happens to Professor Layton and his old assistant Luke. Like, why are they no longer the central characters? And is this like a, what do they call it, a spin-off game? Is it a spin-off game, or is it the new way that it's going?
Right.
Really, how many things can you do with the Professor? He's solved like 5 million puzzles.
Right.
probably broke his brain a little bit.
So did whatever her name was, the lady from Murder She Wrote. I mean, there were like 10,000 episodes. Angela Lansbury.
She solved so many murders, she became a teapot.
I tell you, that was the oddest comparison. I'm sorry.
Last bit of news. They released a game on Steam. It might be older than I think it is, because I just discovered it. But it's called Alchemist Awakening. I'm a big fan of alchemy, as I said. This game is like an infant version of Minecraft, except instead of like pickaxes and axes and hoes and stuff like that, you do everything with alchemy. So you got to like combine elements to like build blocks and make a house and stuff like that. So it's in its infancy. It's not really there's not too much to it. Like I did everything I could do in that game in like an hour.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So unless I'm missing something, which I could be. And you play as a little boy, which is it's kind of weird to me.
Hi.
All the trailers are like, a young boy witnesses death and only wants life. And it's really creepy. So, devs, if you're listening, don't make me play as a young boy. I don't want to do that.
This is so creepy in so many ways.
It is. And that's news. That's me. That's all I got.
How much is it? It's not a free game. I mean,
it's not a free game, no. I think it was on sale, and that's why I got it for $10.
Okay.
I think the normal price is like $15.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, maybe wait. Although it is active with the workshop right now, so like other people are developing stuff for it. So if they're missing something that the developers aren't doing, maybe the workshop will make up for it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So there you go.
Well, thank you. That was a very good news segment.
Sure, thanks.
I appreciate it. I mean, everybody got to see a new game. Hopefully, they will check that out.
Yeah,
Throw
hopefully.
some money, and then the creators of that game will reach out to us and hook us up with free copies of their next game that they're working on,
or insult us for
sponsor.
Yeah. Please.
So let's move into our top 5, and you're going to start us off. You're talking a lot here.
I just talked for an hour.
I love it. I love it.
Sorry, guys.
I'm losing my voice, so that this will work out nicely.
What? Got to pop those cough drops.
Well, I'm trying to stay away from it. I have a problem. But yeah. So our top 5 rosters. What are you starting off with today?
Okay, so maybe a lot of people have heard of this, but it was definitely like a new thing to me. Like I got into the games a little later. Disgaea. Silence your phone, man.
Negative. I love it.
The game series is called Disgaea. And I cheated a little bit because I picked Disgaea 3, but Disgaea 3 also has the cast from Disgaea 2 and Disgaea 1.
Oh, okay.
Right?
As playable or just like...
as playable characters. So like you go through this game, there's a story, and you have this cast of characters. Mao is the central character in this one. He's voiced by the guy that does the voice of Edward Elric, Vic Mignogna. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I have no idea.
Anyway,
I have never played a Disgaea game.
If you can make sense of that, that's his voice actor, and then you have Rasbarrel is like, okay, so the whole setting is like a school. It's an academy for evil. So great, right? Good start. And Mao's whole problem is he's mad at his dad because his dad came in and destroyed his comic book collection.
Right.
So his whole, it's kind of weird. His whole purpose in the game from the start is to kill his dad.
Interesting.
Okay, they're demons. So
okay, well they're
not. Yeah,
I'll allow it.
They're all totally weird game. It's so weird, but basically all the characters in Disgaea are like demons or overlords or like evil rulers or something like that, and it's like a satire on like evil people, but not like people like demons and stuff.
Right,
so,
right.
It convoluted, whatever. The characters are really cool. And the reason I picked Disgaea 3 is just because it has like all of the characters. So at Disgaea 3, when you beat the game, you can unlock the cast from 1 and 2.
That's
but you
cool.
can also, in all of the Disgaea games, because it's kind of a money grab, you can buy unlockable characters.
Oh, cool.
From like the wider range of casts. So one of my favorite characters in this series, Curtis, is like a android scientist. He like takes his hands off and he like has laser beams.
Oh, nice.
And, yeah, so he's one of the characters that you can buy. But that's fine. I would do it. It's he's that good of a character.
The characters from like 1 and 2, if you play as them, does the story change? Like based incorporating them into the story, or not really?
No, so because you have to beat the game first. So the main story is already done, and then you unlock like extra dungeons and stuff like that.
Okay.
So You can beat the game within 100 levels, but the max level for characters in this game is 9,999.
Wow.
So yeah, you can just go all out, and I would say that's the end game, is to get your characters that high and just min-max your skill sets and all that.
Right.
So when you beat the game, you get these special missions and it introduces those characters, and there's like a little bit of a story, but not much.
Okay.
So
nice.
cool. Yeah, Disgaea.
Good
I like them.
choice.
Very cool artwork. It's all like anime style, and all the characters. This song. It's all sprite work too. So
nice.
Yeah, very neat.
Kind of want to
Very
kind
good
of
game series.
popping the old shoulders out to this tune right here.
Here you go.
I feel like I'm listening to something from Animal Crossing for some reason. It's the first thing that popped
Kind
in
of like
my head.
that, right?
So my number 5, a good choice for that one.
Thanks,
by the way, that was a good choice. I haven't played Disgaea, but I think I've seen you play it before.
You didn't like Final Fantasy Tactics, and it is that style of game.
Okay.
So it may not be your thing.
I just didn't have the patience for the super slow pace.
Yeah, and this is a little quicker, but
quicker.
yeah, it's because you can just get so overpowered so easily.
Now that I'm older and much more mature, maybe I'll check it out.
You're right.
Maybe just older. So my number 5, Streets of Rage 3, Sega Genesis.
Nice.
This game is badass.
It's a brawler, right?
It is. It's just a brawler. And the reason I picked it, one, there was literally only 4 enemies you fight in the game, and the best ones are the Mohawk guys.
The Mohawk guys.
Because there's literally 4 versions of them, and the only thing that changes is the color of their jacket.
Okay.
So
nice.
they're all the same. And the other one is because you get to play as a dude on rollerblades.
Okay, Alex. No,
Eddie.
Right.
Eddie Skate Hunter.
His middle name is Skate.
Yeah, and
Nice.
There's Axel Stone and Blaze Fielding in there as well. So there's 3 playable characters, but I was always the skate dude, because the stuff that you would pull off in this game with a
These
skater
names.
is it's absolutely awesome. And I'm a huge side-scrolling beat-'em-up fan. I loved Fatal Fury, Streets of Rage, Golden Axe. So, but just these 3 characters alone, I think, were enough to make it into my list, because the dude is literally on rollerblades. He is literally on rollerblades, and that's it. He's
Right.
just flying through the air, kicking people, and never falls. There's never a stumble.
No.
So, and it's hilarious. It's hilarious. The storylines aren't really ever.
I don't think there are story.
No, I mean, this game added it added multiple endings, longer levels, stuff like that. But
Yeah.
it doesn't. Each version didn't change super much, but it says that there were some hidden characters that were added in a few cutscenes to give the story greater depth. But it was maybe a total of 10 seconds of text. It's not
Oh, really?
Oh my god, all this backstory to fill you in all these characters.
I want to go get some popcorn.
Yeah,
no,
I
I
mean,
don't want to do that.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really play this game that much for story. You play because you just want to beat the crap out of people.
Yeah,
And,
I think that's right.
and Eddie Skate Hunter was the man that just did the job.
Is Blaze Fielding? Is he the big guy?
No, that's from Final Fight.
Final Fight.
He's the big muscular dude in the overalls.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So who are these characters? These other 2?
Axel was just a brawler, and
Right.
Blaze, I believe, was the chick.
Oh, Blaze is the girl.
Yeah, I believe Blaze
Okay.
is the girl with
All
the
right.
with the mini skirt that would just
I
kick people in the
probably
face.
picked her when
Yeah.
I played this game.
So-
Did you go to a boardwalk in this? Is there an arcade stage?
I'm not sure if it was in 3. I think it was in the Streets of Rage series, but I don't think it was in 3.
I remember a background of a Ferris wheel and
It might have been, actually. I'm trying to think.
I remember the skatey guy and I remember the girl.
It probably was, and that makes it that much more hilarious as the guy is rollerblading perfectly on a boardwalk.
On a boardwalk.
This is really cool. Dude's legit. So yeah, I mean, I would say almost everybody knows the Streets of Rage series. There's not really that much to explain about the game. Everybody, and I think if people play Streets of Rage, the rollerblader is the one that stands out of everyone in this series. That dude's on rollerblades. So that's why this game made it into my
inspiration
number 5.
for Lucio Ball.
Exactly. It's the first step.
Yeah.
It's the first step.
Rollerblades.
That's why retro games are so important. They pave the way for Lucio Ball. So that was my number 5.
Nice.
Thank you.
It's a good one. Very
Thank you.
succinct.
I know. I like it.
Small cast is sometimes better, right?
Yeah, exactly. he always stood out, and I was always just saying to myself, like that guy is one of my favorite characters. And so I had to have it, even though it wasn't like a full roster that just like was awesome.
Yeah.
Like those three together and like the enemies that you faced, it was so much fun just ass kicking those guys. So yeah.
Three characters, but only 2 players in that game,
only
right?
2 players. Yeah.
So one guy had to sit out.
Yeah.
And they never did anything.
No.
It's just they weren't in the game at all.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And usually Axel, I would say, is probably the least played person in that game.
Because you got a chick and a rollerblader, and then you have Axel. Like, I go punch stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, that was usually my stuff. Sabin, Snow, all that kind of.
Sabin.
Me, So
You hit a lot of things.
I am. I'm an ex-MMA champion.
I was just gonna say you're just angry.
I'm just angry. Not anymore. That's the old Matt. Now I'm peaceful and calm. As this music. It does. It just calms you
Battle
down.
Against a True Hero is the name of that song.
That's right. And that true hero is yourself.
Yeah.
Mind
Me
blown.
or you?
I don't know.
Yourself or me?
Battling my inner demons?
Okay, there you go.
There we go. You're number 4. What do we got?
Persona 3. Yeah, did you ever play any of the Persona games?
No, I have not.
Again, very demon heavy.
I guess
There's a trend going.
Yeah, I like it though.
Persona 3 is one of those, like, another weird game where, like, a school of teenagers has to fight against evil because no one else will, right?
Buffy!
Yeah, pretty much. I like it. Why is that such a theme? Like,
I don't know.
That's a concept that's been around forever. So these kids fight demons. Basically, there's, like, this... I wouldn't really call it a disease, but there's this apathy syndrome sweeping through the city, so everybody's just like, whatever. And it's caused
Typical
by
high school.
of course, it's millennials. It's caused by this place called Tartarus, which is like a demon hole, and you're on this team called Seed. No, that's something else. That's Final Fantasy VIII. Okay, you're on a team. I really think it's called Seeds or something like that, but
could be.
I could be wrong. Mateo would know. And so your job is to go into Tartarus every night and beat up these demons. And Tartarus works like a tower, but in reverse, so you're going down levels. And every time you get to like a 10th level, or there's a boss or whatever. And the characters are cool. The characters, like I said, are teenagers probably, and they go to high school. So not only do they combat evil, but on the side, they also dating sim. So that's the other half of this game.
Wow.
Is you basically do like mini games with other characters that are not part of the combat cast. You like there's a chick on your sports team, or there's a chick at the mall that you like, or whatever. And you go and you find these people and you do like mini games for them. And you try to become friends with them, and maybe even more.
Nice,
right?
Gonna play this game now.
So like doing that, you unlock little scenes with them. But that's really it. Like, I think the main purpose of doing the dating things is to unlock like the highest level demons that you can recruit. And I could be wrong. It's been so long since I played this. But in combat, you summon these demons by shooting yourself in the head. Oh. Again, the imagery in some of these games is a little dark, but they managed to make it kooky. Like all the demons look silly. I think I sent you a picture of one of them. It's like a guy with a donkey head and like peacock feathers. Do you remember getting that picture from me?
I don't, but that is a new D&D character that I'm going to put into the game.
Okay. I think that's their Baphomet or Adramelech, like a real demon. Like
right.
all of these, basically you summon things, right? Like in Final Fantasy, you go up, you have like a sword. Fine, they have that too. And then when you want to like cast magic or whatever, you can cast magic, but you can also summon. And if you summon, like that takes the place of the character, and the summoned entity does like a spell or whatever, and then it goes back. So all of the summons come from real live lore, like mythos. Like they're all characters from different cultures. A lot of like Japanese and Asian culture mythos demons, and a lot of Christian elements in that too. So it's really cool to see like their depiction of what all these things are.
Right.
Making up stuff about made-up creatures is fine, or whatever. So that I would say that's the biggest draw to it. So not only do you have the central cast of like these teenagers, like Junpei, again, also voiced by the guy that does Edward Elric.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Junpei is like your best friend. Then you have like your best girlfriend, but you know, like you could like her, but
Winky face,
right? And then you have like the straight A girl student, and then you have like the aloof cool kid. You have a dog. There's a dog that comes into play later on. There's the younger student, and then there's like the theater girl or whatever she is. I can't remember. Anyway, huge cast, and then you have all the demons on top of that.
Nice.
So, and there's like 150 or something like that.
Gotta catch them all.
Pretty much Pokemon for demons.
Nice. That's pretty cool, though.
Persona 3.
Was Persona 3 the last one in the series, or are they? Is there more?
Persona 4, right
Okay.
after that. Also very good. A very good story. A little different than this one, and a little more like wacky. So that's good for me.
Wacky new.
And then they're ooh! I almost just unplugged the whole podcast.
Nice.
They're coming out with Persona 5. Hopefully pretty soon. I know it got pushed back a little bit, so
For the
probably
new
the next gen consoles. These are on PlayStation 2.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
So it's been a while since they've come out with a new one then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They were, I think the company that makes Persona went bankrupt for a little while, so I may have misspoke, but I think that was the case.
Nice.
They seem to have gotten their stuff together.
Very cool. It sounds fun. It does. I just wish I had more time to play RPGs. There are so many RPGs. I still want to go through that, you know. There's just so many RPGs I want to play.
This is a very fun game, but it's very heavy on the grind if you want to ace it. You know, you could probably just play through the story mode and then like just grind when you need to get past certain levels.
And you don't
just
need
to get through it.
You don't need to play 1 or 2 in order to understand.
No, all separate.
They're
storylines.
all separate storylines.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah. And 1 and 2, I think, are so like maybe pre PlayStation 1.
Oh wow, okay.
I think, yeah.
So they're much older. Okay.
Yeah. So I think you can grab them on like PSN.
Okay.
Maybe.
Cool.
Yeah, definitely worth checking out. At least a speed run. You can watch a speed run of this.
Hey, you know what? Now I'm sold. now I am sold.
Just to see if it's something you'd be interested in.
And I mean, what would you say is the typical like to get through it? Normal 40, 60 hours to complete like the story? Not 100%, just like but
yeah, maybe 30.
30.
You know, like I don't think it takes too long because there aren't a lot of like. You know, like in a Final Fantasy game, like you hit a roadblock and you have to like go all the way back over here.
Right.
Like this is somewhat linear.
Right.
Like, you know, you're just going through the tower, progressing through that, and doing that. I don't think you have to like become friends with this person to continue the story or anything like that. So
gotcha. Cool.
Yeah.
No.
Mario Paint song.
I was just gonna say Mario Paint song. Yeah.
Dog song.
This soundtrack's so cool, man.
It is such a good
got some
soundtrack.
really good tunes to it. Well, good job. Good number 4.
Thanks.
I like it. I like anything with demons in it. Always gets me, especially
Pretty
when
much my whole list.
especially when you have to shoot yourself in the head to do stuff. That's
Yeah.
love it. Well, that's all right. Mine kind of follows the demon wave that you got going on here.
Ooh.
A little Castlevania 3.
Ah.
Have you played Castlevania 3?
No.
Castlevania 3 is interesting because it steers away from like the RPG aspect that brought on with 2 and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you get it gives you other characters that you can unlock. So other than Trevor Belmont, which is the game's main character, let's see, I had to write them down because the names are very hard for me to remember. Let's see, you got Sypha Belnades, I think that's how you pronounce it. She's a sorceress.
Belnades.
You got a magic caster. Grant I keep saying Dynasty, but his name's not Dynasty.
Grant Dynasty.
Grant's doing Dynasty. He's a pirate, which is really cool. He can climb on walls and do all this kind of stuff. And
what part about being a pirate allows someone to climb walls?
Yeah, I know. Those are his 2 things. A pirate with the ability to climb on walls and change direction and mid jump. When I think of a pirate, those are not the 2 things that
I'm
I
jumping
think
at
of.
you. Nope, now I'm over here.
And you have the introduction of Alucard, which is Dracula's son.
Nice.
So he can shoot fireballs and transform into a bat. So it's cool. You can choose to switch out like between these guys depending if what area of the game that you're at.
Okay.
And so there are certain areas that certain characters might be better at and stuff like that. So pretty cool. Pretty cool. I'm You're gonna ask a question.
I was just say, is there a purpose to switching out? Are there like hidden places in that board that you can only access with?
There are hidden places and stuff like that, and
Grant Dynasty.
Yeah, and then depending on which companion, like which person comes with them, the ending will be different. So the story elements of having them with you. So so it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. You know, it was cool that, you know, because even though I love Castlevania 2, you know, it gets a lot of heat, and I think they really wanted to do something to really bring Castlevania back, and this was a neat addition because these two characters were very, very different from the main whip wielder. So, you know, a pirate, you know, a sorceress, and then you have obviously people's probably most recognized, you know, Alucard. So
you like this game for the same reason you hate Symphony of the Night, because Symphony of the Night, you're always like, just give me a whip.
Oh, well, no, but
just give me a whip.
No, the big thing I don't like about Symphony of the Night is there's so many moves.
I don't
want to
shoot fireballs.
You have to do like down, down, up, left, right, BA, up, down, select, hit start, and then you can shoot like one thing or transform into a bat. I just want to like slaughter stuff.
I'll tell you what, the thing about Symphony of the Night that I use the least is the spells, and I 200% it every time.
Ooh,
that's right.
I just got schooled.
No, you don't have to use the spells.
I do have an unfair dislike for Symphony of the Night. I will admit to that, and I do need to go back and play.
It's going to be our first YouTube series. Is me coaching you through Symphony of the Night.
There we go. Well, whoa. I really don't know what happened with my tongue right there. But that's not a bad idea. Like, you know, a game you never played, and I'm like, okay, this is how it goes. That's not a bad idea. See, you people were wondering why I have Brian on. That's exactly why.
Nobody was wondering.
Everybody.
I just hate it.
There is a question that I forgot to put on here that people asked about you that I will bring up at the end.
Okay.
So that's my number 4. I mean, Castlevania 3. It's a prequel to the original Castlevania. So so that's kind of cool, and multiple characters, and you can't go wrong with Dracula.
You can't. I like Castlevania. I really, really do. Like them putting so much lore on that character alone. Like,
yeah.
Why? Like, what draws you to Dracula in particular? You know, like,
and what they did with the series and creating the Belmonts. Like, it's a staple character now that everybody, you know, it's just great. It's not like, okay, it's the same Belmont. Like, how many times are you going to go back to that?
Story every single time.
It's lineage going down in generations. Like, now you're the ancestor to the original Belmont. So, and it's just really cool how they're keeping it fresh, you know, and not just making it stale. So it was very cool. And I believe it was the last Castlevania that actually had multiple characters, companions in it that you could play.
3?
Yeah.
Well, like the
other than the little thing in Symphony of the Night, I know you could play as Richter or whatever, or like you put the code in or whatever.
Yeah, there's one that they released on the PlayStation Network. I think only for the PlayStation Network. You and like 4 other people or 3 other people could download it, and then you could each play as a different character.
Oh, okay.
And I know that the handheld Castlevanias do a lot of multi-character stuff.
Like Lament of Innocence, stuff like that. Okay.
I want to say it's Portrait of Sorrow or something like that.
Okay.
Is the PSN one? May not be. But
those games are nuts.
You get Alucard, you get a Belmont, you get, I think you get Sypha or whatever her name is. Because you get a magic caster, and she's cool. The character I'm talking about may not be Sypha, but you take abilities from monsters, and then you can use the monster abilities.
Nice.
So like
Blue Mage.
the little, pretty much, yeah. So like the bone throw that the skeletons can do, like she can take that ability.
Oh, that's really cool.
So she's really cool. I liked playing as her.
Nice. And that was for the DS?
No, that's for the PSN.
Oh,
so
okay.
You could just get it on your PS3 console. We could sync up. We could go through Castlevania.
Oh, nice.
That Dracula's Castle together.
Might have to check that out.
It's very
that
neat.
Sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
I love it when you want to play games with me.
I always want to play games at the end.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys later. We're going to go play some Rocket League.
See ya.
Well, that was my number 4.
That's a good one.
I'm very excited about your number 3.
Are you really?
Yes, I am.
How much do you like Radiata Stories?
I love Radiata Stories, even though I've never played more than 2 hours of it. But I have to tell you, those first 2 hours, like, it's very important for me in an RPG. I have to be sucked in immediately.
Yeah.
I really do. And Radiata Stories did that to me. The characters,
Yeah.
it wasn't super serious. It was fun, and it was
fun.
a different kind of combat that I was used to.
Yeah.
And it's just I was never able to finish it. or really even get started at that point. But
Yeah.
It's probably in my top 5 of games that I want to go back and actually go back and finish because and the music and the characters are just really fun.
And it's spunky with heart.
Yeah.
You know, it's the art style.
Yeah.
Like it just sets you up for like, okay, you know that you can't take this game completely serious.
Yeah.
And then like there's like every little cutscene has a little funny thing in it.
Yeah,
you know,
that Southern priest guy, just his voice.
Heel. Oh, they're like 2 weasels in a whipple pie. Yeah, Clive is awesome.
That was awesome.
And so that's kind of why I like this game so much. Is all the characters, they're a huge diverse cast, right? There's a human side and a fairy side, and if you go with the humans, like I feel like you run into a lot of tropes, like character tropes. Like you have the fat rocker guy, you have like the punky shadow magic user, just like a lot of things that you're used to seeing, but like with Radiata Stories, like their own spin on it. So you got 4 different guilds. Can't remember any of their names, but you basically have like the knights, you have the priests, the magic guys, and then the sneaky people, the thieves, the Guild of Shadows or whatever they're called.
Right.
I really need to go back and play this, but backwards compatibility, PlayStation, not a thing. And they haven't put this on PlayStation Network, so maybe they will after hearing this.
I have my PS2. You can borrow it.
Thanks.
when I move in.
I actually have one in a bag in my room.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Cheryl had one, but I haven't hooked it up yet because of laziness.
It's the bane of our existence.
I know. But so like the story makes good use of most of these characters. Well, not most, but a lot of these characters. So because you can recruit so many, like I feel like that's a big thing for you to see like a lot of these characters like in the story, like as part of it. And then to be able to recruit them later is just even cooler. It's like, oh yeah, I remember that guy when he stole this thing from me. Now he's my buddy. Like now I send him out on missions or whatever.
Right.
Out on missions with him. So I mean that's kind of cool. If you betray the humans, you get the fairy side, which is like goblins, dwarves, fairies, obviously elves. So
that's cool.
Very cool. I like dwarves. I could have a whole party of dwarves running around.
I was trying to do a quote from Lord of the Rings, and my mind literally just shut off there.
Matt showed up on my doorstep asleep, so
my mind is just not
a little out of it.
My mind is just not working. It's horrible.
But yeah, it's a super awesome story. The character interaction is super cool, and I feel like even though you have a lot of characters that are similar,
right?
Like every one of them is just different enough to be like standalone and cool,
right?
And it's a lot of fun to like turn on auto combat and just watch these guys like run around, like because they do their own thing. You control Jack,
yeah,
and then these characters just go around and you see Clive just like hucking like stone potions at something, and then they fumble a lot too. So like you'll just see a character like fall on his ass for no reason.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah, Clive was like notorious for it. Like throw a heal potion or like a stone potion. There's because they had like a percentage chance of doing something. Like if you're low on health, like they have a better percentage chance for them to heal you. Like if you're doing fine, like they'll just attack enemies, but sometimes they'll miss and they'll just like fall over. So good. This is probably one of my top 5 favorite games for sure.
It's a shame they never did a sequel or anything to it.
I'm fine with it, you know, because like sometimes the sequel detracts.
Yeah, that's very true.
It makes the pool too diverse, and it's just like now you have fans of this one over that one, you have hate going against that one. When there's only one, you just like it or you don't,
that's the way it is with me and Dragoon. It's like I want a sequel or a prequel, but I agree. It'd be like, okay, well, now that we played this, we realize the original one is actually garbage. Like, no, it's not
no,
garbage.
it's not garbage.
No.
Yeah. Like, how could you say that?
Yeah, come on now.
Yeah.
People. I love them all.
You love people?
I love people.
I hate them.
That's what makes it great. If we like the same things, then this podcast would not work.
Just kidding.
Well, good pick. Radiata Stories, great. I really, 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 really want to go through and play this game again.
Right after Symphony of the Night, man.
We'll do it. We can absolutely. We'll just pick a weekend and go through both games.
There you go.
You played Symphony of the Night enough to where we should be able to go through it pretty quickly.
We can rock it pretty fast. Yeah, I think so.
Nice.
Yeah.
And we'll have it all on video. We'll live stream it.
We'll live stream it. 2 hours of farming the golden knights in the clock tower.
See? We'll just get 2 phones, 2 live streams going at once.
2 phones?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll use a professional camera.
That's true. We should.
Phones.
What is this? What is this contraption? My number 3, not as humorous or as kooky as Radiata Stories. Until Dawn.
Until Dawn.
Yeah.
This is a surprise pick for you.
Yes. Yes, it is. When you think about it, because this is a game that I normally would not really play. I watched a playthrough of it.
Yeah.
And I was immediately hooked. And I said, I have to play this game. I have to play this game. So I went and I played through it, and I love games that you have to play through multiple times to see everything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are 7 characters. There's Sam, Mike, Chris, Ashley, Emily, Jessica, and Matt, and me. Yes.
Yeah.
And it's cool because like they're all going to this cabin that the main character and a lot of these characters are played by like famous people like Hayden Panettiere or whatever her name is. She
Save the cheerleaders, save
Yeah.
the world.
There you go.
Yeah.
Exactly. And what's the guy's name? Ellen. The guy. What's his name? Sorry, give me a second. Oh, Rami Malek.
Rami Malek,
yeah, the guy who does
from
Mr. Robot. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's one.
Super
he's one of the
creepy
main
face.
Guys. Yeah, and he plays like the nut job, and his sisters were killed in the story. So and he blames some of the people in this for them dying. So he brings them back and essentially sets up like this crazy elaborate.
Did you set up this game? What kind of game is this?
This is like a
whodunit?
Yeah, like it's like what's it called? It's like the butterfly effect type thing, to where every decision you make will alter what happens like later on.
Okay,
so you're going down. So you're walking down, and it's like, oh, you find an axe. You look at it or you grab it. No, I'm going to leave it. And later on, if you go on that same path, that axe is there. But if you take it and you don't have it, then whatever's coming after you, you're done. That character's dead.
I see.
So it's like that's why there are so many different ways to play it out. And the first time, and the ultimate goal is to actually save everyone. There's a way to save everyone.
Okay.
And the first time I watched the guy play through it, he lost one person, and it was his last decision that he made. And it's just a really, really cool game. I mean, these characters are anything that they're just normal. They're just normal people. You got your jock, you got your your cheerleader, stuff like that. But just the way they interact and the story together makes it a really interesting cast of characters.
When you got Mike, Chris, and Matt in there, you're talking about mainstay people.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just
Ashley.
And that guy, Rami Malek, I mean, like, he does a great job in this game. I mean, playing the coolest thing about this game is for the first. See, the problem is I don't want to talk about stuff that's going to spoil anything for people. So I won't even go down that route. I'll leave that part out because that could be a potential spoiler for people.
It takes place in Alberta, Canada.
It does take place in Alberta, Canada. Yeah, so it's cool. It takes place during winter, so it's very cold and stuff like that. But yeah, that sucks. I wanted to talk about that, but I didn't realize that I can't. There's a potential that was a big spoiler that like blew my mind when
Game came out in 2014, right?
Yes. So I think we have another year. Isn't it like a 3-year or something?
No, it's 1 year.
Is it 1 year?
It's 1 year.
Should I talk about it or no?
You can do whatever you like. This is your show. People can either listen to it or not, but you should listen to it.
I'm going to talk about it because I think it's cool. So during the first half of the game, there's somebody in first person view talking to a psychiatrist, and you have no idea
why.
Like you have no idea why. And he's just like talking to you. Why did you do that? This and that, and and then you find out that it's actually Rami Malek's character. So and he's talking to a psychiatrist, and he's going through like this split personality type thing. So and it's just really, really cool. And it just blew your mind because who is he? Like, who is this character?
Yeah.
And you don't know that Josh, Rami Malek's character, is the guy behind everything because he dies in the game, but it's set up as a prank.
Oh,
so he has this like a human body like science experiment type thing, and this blade comes in and cuts the body in half, and there's blood coming out. You think it's him, but it's not. So at that point, he's dead. But then later on, you find out it's still him talking to the. It was like mind blown. So it was just this moment. Like, that is amazing writing. I love that kind of stuff. So
very Saw-esque.
It was,
right?
It is, but it's not as gory. But I love the where you have to make these split decisions, and as the game goes on, depending on what the decision is, your timer is quick.
Oh, okay.
Some decisions you have 10 seconds. You're like, okay, what am I gonna do? With other ones, you have like 2. It's like
that.
are you gonna shoot this guy or shoot this guy? Like you're panicking, so it really gets you involved, and it's just
shoot them both.
Yeah, I wish you could. That'd be awesome. It's like, I'm a badass. Thank you. So, but Until Dawn, it's one of these games that you can play. You have to play multiple times to really get everybody's, because the ending changes based on who is being saved.
Yeah.
So that the interactions after the game is done, just really well done. I highly recommend it. And
these are becoming popular. These kinds of games.
Yeah.
Like there's that other one where the girl, she has like a best friend, and like the course of the game, like her best friend keeps dying, and you have like the choice to like go travel through time and like save her, you know, and then like at the end, like you basically like save your best friend or save this town full of people. So it's like a social experiment on that.
Yeah, because the other one I played was The Walking Dead, the Telltale Walking Dead
Yeah.
series. It's exactly like this, and I really like those kind of games where it's like it's kind of linear, it's taking you on this path, but then you have
all these choices.
You have the
I
option
mean,
to make
you
these
know,
choices. So I kind of like that. So
did Tiny Bronco, did he cosplay this?
Yes, he did.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, they did. I forget the characters that they played, but yeah, they did. I think they did Mike and Sam. I think they did Mike and Sam. I think they did Mike and Sam. I'm not sure, but yeah, his he's got images on his Facebook page. So yeah, Tiny Bronco cosplay. Go ahead and check that out.
It says Jessica was played by Megan Martin. That's my niece.
Really?
I don't think she's not an actress, so I don't think that was her.
I was going to say, wait a minute, how are we not involved in this game? Say no. So that was my number 3.
It's a good number 3. I like those kinds of games.
Yeah.
I like slasher flicks. So
yeah, very exciting, very good game. Go check it out. Undertale. I mean,
Undertale.
Until Dawn.
That's the soundtrack, man.
Until Dawn. I'm losing it.
But yeah, check out Undertale.
Speaking of Undertale, what's your number 2, Brian?
Not Undertale. No, it is. It is Undertale. I love this cast of characters. It's so good.
I need to play this game.
It's so good. It's so like there's probably 8 or 9 characters in the whole game that are like integral, and then you have like all the monsters, which you know like normal enemies. Like if you run into a cactuar, you wouldn't like say, "Oh, that's a character,"
right?
But like I kind of feel like the enemies in this game are. If you don't know this about Undertale, once you kill like all the monsters, they're done. They don't respawn. They don't like keep harassing you. If you kill all the monsters, they're gone.
So you can just run around free.
You just go through the zone. And actually, when you clear a zone of like all of its monsters, this really haunting, eerie music starts to play.
Oh, nice.
It's super, super spooky. Because, you know, the whole concept of Undertale is to show mercy on your enemies, right? So, like...
Because you could do pacifist runs, right?
You can do pacifist run, which is, for me, the only way to play this game. Like, I have such a hard time with the genocide runs or the, you know, kill most runs or kill... Like, you can have a different playthrough of the game if you kill one different person each time.
Oh,
it's
wow.
like if you killed Papyrus, you have a completely different run than if you went through the game and you only killed Undyne, or if you only killed... the robot, I forget what his name is, Metatron. So, and anyway, those are the characters. You have the 2 brothers, Sans and Papyrus, 2 skeletons named after type fonts. You have Comic Sans because he's a funny skeleton. Papyrus.
I like it.
Okay.
I like it.
Then you have Undyne, who's like the protector of the realm. She's like a dragoon, but she's a mer lady, a merfish, a mer woman.
I'm a merman.
You have Alphys, who's like a scientist, the lizard scientist. Yeah, pretty much that voice. If you look at her character portrait, that's what I imagine her to sound like. Who created Metatron, who's like a robot, and shenanigans. And then you have what's her name? Toriel. Toriel is the first person you find who kind of like shepherds you and like tries to protect you. And then you have Asgore, who's like the evil king of the monsters. And I won't give away any more than that, but super cool story. Completely changes every time you play through it. And pacifist run. Please do not do any other run but the pacifist run. These are characters you don't want to kill.
We got to get you in a speed run of a pacifist run.
You know what? Like, I wonder if you could do a speedrun of Undertale. Like, I wonder.
Yeah.
I want to see the ones that do.
Oh
it,
yeah, there's a lot of. It was at AGDQ that just.
Was
happened.
it really?
Yeah, there was one of them was an Undertale run. Yeah.
Nice. What was the time? Do you remember?
I don't remember what the time was. I think it's maybe over an hour.
It's not a long game. Like,
it's
anyway,
not a long game.
So
I've never seen a pacifist run. I know they're out there, but I haven't watched one. I've been watching like the You should just watch the any percent or quickest playthrough.
I'm pretty sure, anything or the genocide is probably really quick because you just.
Yeah, the pacifist is probably the longest one, I imagine, to get through everything.
It's also just a longer version of the game because I would say it's because to me, the truest version of the game is the version of the game that you spend more time in.
Right.
So the pacifist run takes you through more of the game. More things happen, different things happen. So I would say that's the true version of the game.
Nice.
So it probably is going to be the longest speed run.
Well, good choice. Or it's the game I want to play this game really badly. So
I you know me, I heard the soundtrack to this game before I ever played it, and I listened to the soundtrack over and over and over again, and I had an idea of when these songs would occur in the game, and then playing through it, I was just like, the songs in this game still tug at my heartstrings because of what these characters do in the game,
right?
And, what happens, and it's just wow.
It's the power of gaming composition, man. That's how you know you have a solid game, as you can listen to the music and visualize, and you still have that emotional impact of it's good writing, it's good storytelling, it's good music, and it's the reason why it won a lot of awards. It's the reason why it's a very popular game.
Yeah, Toby Fox did an amazing job, and I want to say Sans is my favorite character in this game, but it could easily be Papyrus as well.
Papyrus, I'm going to throw paper at you, Papyrus.
Bones. He throws bones, but
that was my impression of him.
What's your number 2, man?
My number 2, I could do a whole podcast on this game alone. Diablo 1.
Oh, okay.
Diablo 1. Amazing. Warrior, rogue, sorcerer. The
not characters.
They are, and I will get to that.
Okay.
You have the introduction of Deckard Cain, which is just Cain.
Yeah.
Cain the Elder, I think is his name in the original. You have Griswold. You have Adria, which I will absolutely touch on. I read some stuff that it blew, just my mind just literally exploded. Farn the Drunk.
Can't afford drink in peace.
You have Wirt, which is completely worthless. He just ripped you off everywhere that you went.
You left out Pep and the Healer.
Pep and the Healer, yeah. And then you had the
lady that ran the tavern.
The barmaid. Yeah, you had the barmaid. So those, and then obviously, Diablo and King Leoric, Lazarus, all the characters.
The goat guy.
Garbad the Weak.
Garbad.
Garbad the Weak will always. Oh, that thing's amazing. But I wrote this down because I wanted to read this because I was doing some research and I was reading some lore on Diablo because there are things in Diablo 3 that I'm like I don't understand certain things.
Matchup, yeah.
Yeah. So I was trying to read it. So, and I never ever realized, just not paying it, that in Diablo 1, that woman is named Adria that sells the stuff there. That is the same Adria. In Diablo 3.
Diablo 3, yeah.
So she, it says she became a servant of darkness dedicated to bringing Diablo's return. To that end, she slept with the warrior Dark Wanderer, which is the main character from the warrior.
They're calling the warrior the central character.
Before he departed Tristram, a union that resulted in giving birth to Leah, who was ultimately the vessel of Diablo's return in Diablo 3. She shepherded her daughter into position to be consumed by Diablo as in his return as Diablo 3. Leah was Prince Aiden's daughter and thus the niece of Prince Albrecht, which is who was possessed by Diablo in Diablo 1, which is the warrior, and the granddaughter of King Leoric, thus carrying on the family tradition of being possessed by the greater evil.
Oh, okay.
I just think that I saw that, I was like, that.
So Leoric is tied in there as well.
Mind just blown. I was like, I never realized. I saw Adria, but I was like, okay, but I never realized that's how they connected the stuff together, and I was just like, that's absolutely brilliant.
I know all this stuff about Adria, but I must have listened to all of those books that you pick up. You know, I never heard that about Leoric though. That's crazy.
Yeah, really, really interesting stuff, and I just that's why that's on there. Other than it being my favorite Diablo game out of all of them.
I don't know. You've been spending a lot of time on Diablo 3.
Well, yeah. Well, because I got it on Xbox. I can use a controller. So controller over keyboard and mouse.
Yeah.
So any day. But Cain is probably the most recognizable character in Diablo. Him being through Diablo 1, Diablo 2, and Diablo 3.
Yeah.
But just a great cast, a great introduction to the game, and a lot of these characters make appearances in some way, even if it's just through lore and stuff like that through Diablo 3, there's a girl in Act 2 that sells stuff, and she has Wirt's bell, which was a nod to Wirt from the first.
Right, yeah. And
then,
her name is Squirt or something, right?
Yeah, and then in Diablo 2, when you're in Tristram, you find Wirt's leg, which is used to create the cow level. So it's just really cool how these characters that really had no strong attachment to the story, just were thrown as little Easter eggs going throughout the games, and automatically, and then they're all tied together in some way. So it's great.
Griswold comes back, right?
Griswold in 2. You fight him in 2. He's after Tristram was overrun.
He's like a big, powerful zombie man.
Yeah. So you kill him, and then in Diablo 3, you go through old Tristram again, and you see his shop. It's all broken down,
completely destroyed. Yeah.
So it's just you get to revisit these cities multiple times. But that was the hardest thing in Diablo 2, going back to Tristram to save Cain, and you see Griswold. You're like, Griswold, it's like you've been turned, and it was heartbreaking because you're in that town that you helped save, and
you see Farnham's little skeleton against a tree trunk.
Yep. So it's just what happened to those characters. Pepin and the barmaid. They're all just destroyed.
Yeah.
So but that's my number 2, Diablo 1.
Who did you play in Diablo 1? Like, what was your favorite?
My favorite was always the warrior, but sorcerer was close. Never really played the rogue.
Never played the rogue?
Never really played the rogue. I love the Amazon.
Didn't like the bow shooty.
I loved it in Diablo 2, but Diablo 1, I was much more of a melee person, so I mainly went with the sword and board.
So I would play like a magical warrior, because you could have like the staves in that game. So I just always had a staff with me, because some of the enemies in that game, like, I didn't even want to get close to.
The game was just terrifying, man. You just kept going down, straight to the depths of hell.
Like, I was so young when I played this game, and you going to hell, like you're going through like a spooky church dungeon, and then like hell is like all flesh and not all fire and whatever. It's just like all.
Yeah. No, I mean, and the ambiance they had playing, you're just like,
people screaming. And
I can't do that here. I can't do that here. Why can't I run in town? Why can't I do anything? I can't do that here. Great.
Perfect.
Love it. So that's my number 2. Great game. If you haven't played it, then I don't like you.
Oh, wow.
Just kidding.
Hurt Throne.
I'd love everyone. Please play it.
Good one.
Thank you. Number 1s. We're nearing the end of the old list here.
Yeah, I told you this is going to be a long one. We're going on an hour right now.
Nice.
Yeah. Number 1, me?
Yeah, you.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, I think this tops the cake right here.
Does it?
I think so.
Okay.
Better than mine.
Chrono Trigger.
Oh.
No surprise, right? I mean,
he pulled the trigger.
Oh, the Chrono Trigger.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I easily this is the first cast of characters that I was really introduced to, apart from like Mario and like Nintendo stuff.
Right.
I'll say. My first RPG. And like all the characters are great. Like,
they're all great.
Like even the characters that aren't your party characters that you run into, they all have like this express background, and they're all important. They all have like, you can see their madness, and then like the character beneath it. It's like, it's tragic in a way that some of these characters are broken, like Queen Zeal.
Yeah.
And Dalton, her crony.
Yeah, I mean, there are very few characters in the Chrono series, whether it be Cross or Trigger, that there isn't some sort of backstory added to it. Like, you're just a dude who just stands there. Like most people that you interact with, you figure out their backstory as you go, and it's just a well done game.
And they have lineage too. So like the further you go in time, like you see these characters again, but it's the ancestor of that character, or the what would you call like a reverse ancestor? Like, they're not in the past; they're in the future. Descendant. Thank you.
Oh,
Descendant. So you have like side characters like Toma, who's this treasure hunter, and you meet him in 600 AD, I believe. And so like you see, like whenever you're in 600 AD, you can see Toma like doing something. He's like, "Oh, I'm after the next great treasure," or whatever. And then you find in 1000 AD. I might be getting my years wrong, but the 1000, whatever, AD, BC. EY, you find Toma's grave, and and it's like really sad. It's like, oh, Toma, but then like you figure out that Toma like allowed you to gain access to like the secret treasure or whatever. So then you get it, and that's cool. And you're like, Toma.
And I know as much as you don't really enjoy time travel, you love it's great that they do it right in this kind of game.
They do it like so simplified, and like I guess you just can't be like, oh well, that wasn't right. If you do that, the space-time continuum just you'll like if you don't get into all that, it's perfect.
Like, dude, there's a talking frog in my party. Chill out.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good with the way they've done time travel.
Yeah.
In Trigger. Yeah, I didn't realize that my favorite game of all time would involve an element that I absolutely detest.
Yeah.
So.
Well, no, it just says that it's just if it's done right, it's something that you can get behind, and Trigger is a fantastic game. Fantastic.
It is. Yeah, I mean, like all of the cast characters, all the like central characters are good. Like they're all unique. Like they'll have like their own move set. Like Isla may not like her as much because she can't equip weapons and she doesn't have like magic, but she can summon dinosaurs and she can steal. Like she's super valuable because she can steal some of the stuff in the game that you can only get from her thefting. You know, she has the highest attack in the game because if you get her to high enough level, her fists turn into stone or iron.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so
that's badass.
She's good. The whole cast is just awesome. And again, like I like a lot of the little like minor characters, Shala, Toma. There's the queen, the dinosaur lady, Azala or something like that. Like she just wants like dinosaurs to, have a place in society, and like these cavemen are bashing them over the head with clubs and stuff.
Come on, man.
Why you gotta hurt?
One love.
One love. And then she gets thrown into a volcano or whatever.
Well, there goes that idea.
So yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, it's a good one.
For me, it's a good one.
Do you think you think I'm gonna read you the list of characters from mine, and I want you to try and guess what game it's from? Because I don't know if you're gonna do it. This is a very game that very few people have heard of.
Okay.
So,
all right,
everybody listening, do your best to kind of listen. I'm gonna go Terra, Locke, Solis, Edgar, Sabin, Cyan.
Oh! I got it.
What is it?
Mario Party.
You're on the right track. Okay. Setzer, Shadow,
TMNT, Battle for Manhattan, or whatever.
You're getting colder.
Oh,
Realm, Stego.
Oh, I got it.
Drago.
No, I don't got it. Damn.
These next four, if you're gonna get it, you'll know these four: Gao, Mog, Umaro, and Gogo.
Oh, Final Fantasy 12.
Subtract 6 from that.
13.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Final Fantasy 13.
No. I got it.
Final Fantasy 6, the largest cast in any Final Fantasy game.
Oh, God, yeah.
And a lot of people saying Final Fantasy 6 is the greatest of the Final Fantasies. And
Definitely
I will not dispute them. 7 is my favorite because of mainly nostalgic purposes.
Yeah.
But 6 is an absolute perfect Final Fantasy game.
You punch a ghost train.
Yeah. You suplex it. He literally can suplex a train. Sabin is the man. But, I mean, this list of characters is just, it's awesome. There are so many different kinds of characters. I just don't know, with how popular 6 was, like, why they never did this in another Final Fantasy. Why wouldn't you, let's get back to that. I mean, just having that many options, especially with how large you can make Final Fantasies now.
9 had a lot.
9 did have a lot.
9 had a lot, but then since it's like 6 or 7 characters.
Yeah.
7 had what? 8, 9?
Yeah.
9?
6 had 12.
7 had 9.
Oh, 7 had 9. Yeah.
Just trying to say as many numbers.
I was just
as
numbers. Wait a minute. What Final Fantasy are you talking about? 7, 9, 6. So, this alone. I mean, let's just leave out the enemies and stuff. You go this cast of characters alone. They're all awesome. My favorite in that list being Sabin, followed by Shadow, and then Cyan. Those are my man. Shadow because he summoned a dog, and he.
I was going to say you left out Interceptor.
Yeah, I mean, Interceptor. And when Shadow was like, you know what, I don't need to be here, I'm dipping out. But then when he sees his people, like when something's going wrong, he's like, oh, you know what, I'm going to go and just turn the tide and just Interceptor, go do your thing. And then he rolls in, and I mean, love it, love it.
Another cool thing about Shadow, Realm's daddy.
Was it?
Yeah.
Interesting. I haven't played 9-6 in so long. I played 6 in so long.
Yeah, it's heavily implied that Shadow is Realm's dad.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Who was your who did you I mean, do you remember like when you played through 6? Who was your?
Once I got them, and like once you could like have a party, it was always Realm, Strago, Umaro, and somebody who had heals.
Nice.
Strago's the blue mage. Realm is like the monster recruiter. She like just takes monsters and like
right.
That's your attack. And then Umaro's the berserker yeti.
Right.
Fantastic.
I was always Edgar, Sabin, Cyan, and Shadow when he was available.
Edgar was the other one. Yeah.
But if he wasn't available, I used either probably Locke or Mog.
I like Setzer. Throwing the cards.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
There's something about using like a drill and a massive chainsaw to spin on people.
Yeah.
This and the noise blaster and all that. It's like this.
He had really cool
This is an
inventions,
adventure.
yeah.
That's so cool.
The auto crossbow just to get rid of the whole.
Dude, that thing was so OP.
Yeah.
It was
so
awesome. So, and then you have, Kefka. And, a lot of people say Kefka is probably the best villain in all the Final Fantasies, better than Sephiroth. Which, I mean, the dude is legitimately nuts.
Yeah, just an insane clown.
Yeah, I mean, he's a Final Fantasy version of the Joker. So, I mean, and, it's just a great story, amazing cast of characters. And I couldn't think of any other game that, when I think of, what game has the best cast of characters, like 6 just pops in my head.
Yeah.
Not just because it has the most playable, but because they're all awesome and they all have a purpose.
Yeah, 6 is a really good one.
Really good one. Really good one. So that's my number 1.
Nice.
Thank you.
I think you killed the music too with your closing.
With my awesomeness.
Yeah.
We'll do that honorable mention though that you have on here.
I had 2 actually.
You do, all right.
Yeah. Did you have one?
No, I did not.
So Final Fantasy IX.
Absolutely.
Because I mean, if I was going to put Final Fantasy on my list, which I almost did, 9 would have been it. Kina, Eco, Garnet, Steiner, Vivi. You have like so many good ones.
That Steiner Vivi story it will always be one of the best.
It's good, right?
Yeah.
The Fireblades and all that.
Just how he looks and sticks up for Vivi.
Yeah, he
like
does.
Master
does
Vivi.
He
had
Master
like
Vivi.
Yeah, he just always had that strong attachment and feelings for him. I was just so cool.
Lest we forget Amarant.
Yeah,
the guy with
he was there.
The red dreads.
He had his purpose, but not for any reason that I was using him.
You cut in line. Got all the cream cheese bagels.
He had like 4 lines in the whole story.
Yeah, sorry. Every time, there's always a cutting in line story with Amarant because that's how weak his story is. Him aside, great characters. The other one I put on here just now was Overwatch because Overwatch has really great characters. Just not a lot of background to them. I mean, they do have a lot, but there's just no like
fleshing them out like over time.
They're doing it in what do they call that? Like extended media. So it's not in the game. There's no like story mode for McCree in the game, but there's a 7-minute video or whatever that explains part of it.
Right.
Hanzo and Genji are explained in a video. Like all of their voice lines and stuff. They talk to each other if they're
little hints about
and like, oh, I ain't seen you for a while. I thought you were dead. It's like the grave can't hold me. That's Reaper. That's my Reaper impression.
That was a very good Reaper impression.
Thank you.
Die.
That's even better. A 5-year-old created that character. I swear to God.
Reaper.
So yeah, honorable mentions.
Very good.
There you go.
Yeah, they're all very good. I think we have time to dip into our mailbag.
Just briefly, right?
Yeah. I got 3 questions, but we'll answer them quickly. Let's see. I'll start the first. Well, we're both going to answer them, but do you play Pokemon Go? If so, what gym have you belonged to? I belong to Team Valor, and I no longer play Pokemon Go.
Why don't you play Pokemon Go anymore?
Because, one, I could never get a Pokestop to refill my balls. I was too lazy to go around.
You're just too lazy to walk.
And it was literally draining the life of my battery to the point where I couldn't do anything else. I just said, you know what? I'm just going to be done. So
I don't know. That's kind of weak.
But it's just.
So I was able to get a second phone just to play Pokemon Go with, and so I don't care if that battery dies or whatever. I just go out my little Pokemon walks and catch whatever I can. And I belong to Team Mystic.
Nice.
So
very good.
Articuno, FT Dubs.
FT Dubs. Let's see. Other question number 2: is there a game coming out this year that you're looking forward to?
I don't know what's coming out this year. Legion is about to launch. I'm looking forward to that.
That's true.
Final Fantasy 15, is that this year?
That is this year.
If it's this year, then I'm looking forward to that.
I've got 4 games, actually. Legion, No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky.
Battlefield 1, Titanfall 2.
I didn't know Battlefield 1 was this year.
Battlefield 1 comes out in October, and Titanfall 2 literally comes out like 10 days after that.
You don't need to care about Titanfall 2.
No, Titanfall 2 I'm going to wait until next year. But Battlefield 1...
You don't need to pick... That's a $20 game.
No, it's going to be a $60 game.
No, I mean it's going to be a $20 game when I buy it.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait and see what the reviews are. But the reason why I'm excited for Titanfall 2 is because they actually have a single-player story campaign mode, which is what was the biggest lacking thing in the first one. So, and it looks absolutely amazing. But Battlefield 1 takes the cake. I think overall, most excitement, Battlefield 1 for me this year.
Okay.
And the other question that it was about you. I'll let you answer this one.
Wonderful.
Somebody asked if you had to apply to get on the show.
If I had to apply?
If you had to apply to get on the show.
Basically, I text Matt a lot, begging to let me be on the show. And then finally he was like, I am so sick of getting these messages at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. I don't know what your problem is, but if it'll shut you up, you can be on the show. And you can just sit behind all the equipment and press play once in a while. That's all I want you doing. I don't want you to talk at all. And here I am now.
That's basically how it happened. Very very close to how it happened. So we're very happy. He finally wore me down.
Yeah.
No, Brian was a very strong supporter of the show, and we had him on a couple times. He was a guest host and stuff like that with me. And then we had worked together on other projects. So I asked him if he wanted to run audio for me so I could focus just on conversation and not be running the board and stuff like that. So kind of got him in, trained him on it, and now he's got full control of all of it. So I must say
thanks, Matt.
It's come a long way. So no, he did not apply. He just basically has to be nice to me for me to keep him on.
Yeah.
So that's all I ask is to be nice to me. I don't ask for much. So those are 3 questions. So
that's it, huh?
Yeah. So we got some. I think 2 or 3 more on the list that we'll save for that. But keep sending them in.
Yeah, please.
Send them in.
Super fun.
Facebook, Twitter, email, Geek Street Station, all that stuff. Send it to us. Any question. I don't care what it's about. It can be personal. It can be about gaming. It can be about movies. It really doesn't matter.
We just
we've gotten really awesome feedback on this, and I even did one the other day. And if it's something that's really really cool, I talked about the one the other day on the live video that I'm doing. The question was why do you game?
Oh yeah.
And so
I
just thought that was a really really cool question. So if it's something that I can talk about for a while, I'd be happy to do one of those videos on it. So just keep sending them in, and we appreciate all the support you guys give.
Thanks.
Going to do just a quick announcement. This Wednesday at the BART on Mills, we'll be there doing an event running a Mario Maker station. We were invited in to do an event, Gaming for Orion. A 4-year-old boy was diagnosed with cancer, so it's going to be raising money to help him and his family take care of some of the costs of that stuff. So all the arcades are going to be accepting coins. There's going to be $1 a run for the Mario Maker. They're going to have some prizes, and all the money received that night for the games is going to be going to this. Is going to be going to the family to help them through this tough time. So if you guys are in the area and able to, please come on out. It's from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. at the BART on Mills Avenue in Orlando. I have the event on our Facebook page. If you want more information, just check there. And hopefully we can see you guys there, hang out, have a few drinks, and play some games and raise money for this cause. So, yeah. Anything else you wanna throw out before we cheese and rice it out of this dog?
Did you tell everyone where to find us? Do they know yet?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, okay. I must have zoned out.
I just said Facebook, Twitter, and
find us. Facebook, Twitter,
yeah,
stuff.
Cast Revive,
Geek Street Station.
Yep,
all
Geek Street Station, all that good stuff. So they know where to go. All our stuff. We had a really high number turnout today for downloads.
Yeah.
So I checked it out earlier. I was like, where did that spike come from? That's ridiculous. So
thanks, guys.
Yeah. So we really appreciate that.
That means a lot.
Yeah, it's because we haven't put out an episode in a week.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, it was like today. So something got shared through someone to where we got a really really big download. So we thank you guys for everything.
Positive energy out there.
That's right.
I'm
Brian wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys. So.
That's true. I thrive on positive energy and downloads.
That's right.
Delicious downloads.
So
I don't.
Me? Yeah. Anything on your end?
I forgot to change the music.
That's okay.
I'm gonna do it now though.
You are. Let's see what you're gonna.
Do you hear me doing it?
Yep.
Okay.
Wait for that click action.
Here it is. Bye.
Yes. Professor Layton.
Professor Layton, you got it. Bye, everybody.
See you next week.